Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Hello, everybody. It is the 17th. Man, I feel that, I don't know. I feel like there's something I'm supposed to be saying here, but I'm missing it. Anyways, we got a lot going on here. We got Tesla added into the S&P 500. That's going to be a factor going forward. I'm actually not looking forward to having to factor that in. The Sidney Powell is releasing the Kraken, although it kind of doesn't look like that is quite what the Donald Trump supporters were expecting. But overall, we are down a little bit. So let's go to the charts. So you can see there's kind of this line from when we, kicked up on Monday that has held a number of times. And they're at it basically right now. Also, difference between the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, not very significant change at the moment. Treasuries had, a little dip yesterday, but, doing okay today. We got some auctions today, right? Let's see here. It's the 30-year today, right? 119.42 day. I thought it was the bonds today, but maybe I'm wrong. We do have some of those, though. Oil, they've got a meeting going on in oil today. I guess some concern about too much supply coming on. But that thing's probably going to be volatile today. Gold flat. So they took a big hit on that Monday move and recovered it all. How many times can that happen? It's just like stop run and then they fill it back up. That's the low liquidity of gold, I guess. Copper though. That's a little interesting. That one is not kind of in line with everything else that we're seeing. What about the dollar? The dollar continuing its slide and back to 92.3. So, entonces, it sounds like they're going to make a Brexit deal. So that might be part of it. Oh, did I even show you any of the charts? Was I going through all of that and you guys couldn't see any of it? Well, I guess you don't necessarily really need to be. So are you still on the side? Yeah, I'm still on the sidelines. There was a spot where I could have bought, for sure. It wasn't the signal that I was looking for, but, there was a spot that we could have bought. But Bitcoin is overvalued here. So I really can't recommend. I'm certainly not going to be getting in here. I would be looking for an exit. But the but is that we could keep going for quite some time. So even though I'm looking for an exit, I'm not sure that it's here. It sure is running though. And the issue here is that, again, nothing has really actually happened in Bitcoin. So like it really does appear to me to be almost purely speculation. And it's a little concerning that we're getting to these levels in terms of being overbought without seeing wider participation. PayPal acceptance doesn't mean anything because it's not actually changes anything in the ecosystem. So Yeah, not. So the PayPal thing doesn't allow you to actually use Bitcoin. What it allows you to do is to buy Bitcoin and they hold it for you. And that's it. So, like, who's going to do that? How does that affect the ecosystem? Does that mean that more coins are going to be bought? I don't think it is. So, I think that the PayPal news was a real dud. I'm not going to say it's irrelevant, but I don't think that it justifies a new all-time high. Not even close. I really think that this is like the seasonality is that they pump it in late part of the year. They're going to pump it and then they're going to take their profits before Christmas like they always do, right? Oh, I need to turn this on over here. Well, the equities are quite sad here. Is this the Sleepy Joe pump? I don't know. So that's another interesting thought, though. Is the movement in Bitcoin at all related to concerns about the strength of the dollar and the issues with debt going forward in fiat currencies and things like that? I'm sure that there are people that are trading it that way, but when you look at the larger pattern, it just looks like something that just was happening anyways. You know, I haven't run my thing today, but we should. Might give me a new data point. Let's see. So we do get some retail sales here at the bottom of the hour. That's pretty important. It's like when you look at the pattern, to me, it's like, yeah, they just never gave up, right? Here was the first bottom and the first overextension. This move right here, right? And then it's supposed to come down. It made a higher low, which was surprising, but we never got to here. We were supposed to get to here, so that's why I never bought. But since then, okay, what happened in April of this year is that it was like changed the dynamics of Bitcoin. It's like the whole thing was that this drop everybody was shocked by. So I think if it wasn't for the pandemic, they would have done this, you know? And yeah, look at the bands that we get, like from value. This is the thing then, this is where I get concerned about it, is you're seeing this huge swing up in price. You should see more transactions start to come in on the blockchain to come up and meet it. And it's not. It's flat. It's flat. So this will be the real test of our model, won't it? Because, if they come in and they do this and they're just all over the place and this continues to be over here, then there's something seriously flawed in the model. But I say they're going to come up here like this and then they're going to go badoosh when they take their profits at the end of the year. So we'll see. E-mini pushing there. Bitcoin might be poised for a downturn of nearly 20% on the bearish end. Well, there's definitely, you can make a model about anything. How predictive it actually is of price is another question, right? Our model has been extremely effective at picking local tops and bottoms in Bitcoin. Will that continue into the future? Past performance is not indicative of future results. But I think that the economic theory behind it is solid. And even if it doesn't, even if they break it, it tells you something, right? It tells you that Bitcoin isn't being used and that the people that are buying it are all speculators, and apparently the speculators are able to sustain it. I am not so convinced, because the speculators, just bail at the first sign of a problem, Now, I don't know if I should have taken that going right into retail sales, but okay, so a little bit worse than expected. He says he's not guaranteeing a retreat in Bitcoin. I am predicting that in the next 6 months there will be a significant decline in Bitcoin. I think that earlier I predicted before the end of the year. So I really still think before the end of the year, but if not before the end of the year, then in the next 6 months. For sure. Okay. So not too much of a reaction after that retail sales, but it was spot 3 versus spot 5. I'm surprised they don't care about that too much. Oh, that was not what I wanted. It's like, oh, now you're ready to move, huh? 50K and then a retrace? No. I honestly, I find it so funny how you guys get these numbers about where it's going to go. Okay. So that's kind of weird that that reaction was really delayed. Okay. So I'm sitting here thinking, does that have to realign my fundamental outlook there that the retail sales are bad? Because all of that right there kind of really looks like, let them buy out all they can. You can't keep it going. Like, I don't understand what people don't. I'm frustrated because you of all people should understand the case that I'm making, and yet you list a bunch of things that are basically irrelevant. Institutions can buy all they want. That's not going to save them when price goes below their cost basis and starts washing them out. And frankly, I'm not entirely convinced that it's really institutions coming in meaningfully. All of the money is coming in through Tether. I guess that can be institutions, but I would just be really wary about if they're all doing it through Tether. Is like, okay. So because institutions are speculating, that should make us. I don't think that you should buy an asset because somebody else did. And I don't care if it's that other person was JP Morgan. $300K or more? No. I tell you what, it'll be a slog to get to 20K. It's being a slog to get to 20K, and to expect these numbers like in the hundreds of thousands on this current run are frankly preposterous. Well, I would time your selling. I would time the selling more with a time rather than a price or a move. You know what I mean? Like, I would. There might be a dip going into, like, when would it be? Next week? Yes. There might be a dip going into next week. But if it doesn't, then I would be trying to sell as late into December as I can. But that's usually when things start to turn. Okay, well. Yeah, because I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that the cycle that I see is a seasonal cycle, and so I would be timing it based on the seasonality of it, which means that there's maybe a little bit of a dip before Thanksgiving, but then like they usually pamp it right going into that first week of December, and then that's the end, and they take their profits, and it crashes before the end of the year, and it going into, April or so. And then when spring comes is when they start picking it up again. In 2020. Well, they already had the halvening pump, right? Which was a little disappointing, the end result of that, right? Like, everybody was pumping up into it, but then afterwards. But there was, again, this thing that I was trying to tell people at the time on that one is halvening matters. The model factors it in, but it doesn't matter right away. The result of less being out there, it takes a while to actually have a meaningful impact on the thing. I don't know. So instead, what did you get? Speculation. So like every little, that's like all you can use to explain it. Or now that's another issue. If you're seeing movement because of speculation, it's harder to predict, right? I can come down and I can say we're overvalued. They're probably going to run out of steam at some point, but I can't predict how many people are going to buy into it before it ends. I just know that when it ends, it's going to be really ugly. Is a vaccine doing anything with crypto and stocks? I mean, I don't see why Bitcoin would be affected by vaccine news. So when I look at it, the question is always going to be, will this cause more or less people to use Bitcoin? I'm not talking about people buying it and speculating on it. I mean, that's a thing too. But the speculation, it's like people can think what they want and there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no like correct answer in crypto. You know, if it's treasuries, like businesses have to do something and you can game that out. You can't do that in cryptocurrency. But we can look at, is it expanding the network? And at the moment, we're not seeing anything do that. The amount of money being transacted on the network isn't increasing. So, if Bitcoin is going to continue to move up, it's going to have to do it purely on speculation. And in my opinion, you can only go so far with pure speculation. But whatever. I mean, the thing is going to be, I'm going to say it's overvalued. People are going to keep buying it for a couple of months. They'll be like, oh, you missed this, you missed this. And then eventually it falls 50% or whatever the amount is. And I'm all, well, I tried to warn you guys. But then nobody cares anyways. And I don't get any recognition for it. It's just like, you know, you can't win on that thing. Same thing with Tesla. You can't win on that one. Okay, Wynn's talking about Tesla. Yes, their stock should get a bump unless Musk finds a way to get someone else freaked out. Oh, yeah, I do type fast, thank you. So I'm interested. I don't really know what will happen with the Tesla thing, especially since all this year I've been hearing people buying Tesla and their main theory is that it will be added into the S&P 500, you know? So it's like how much of that is priced in and how much of that, like how much institutional ownership actually comes in and pushes, you know? And then once the institutions all have everything that they need, then what happens to it? You know, it's just, I would think that they would start buying it right now. So, I'm thinking like some people might think, as soon as it's in the S&P 500, then I want to buy it. Or no, you want to buy it now and sell it when it gets included in the S&P 500, probably. But I'm not sure if that would actually work right now. But I've never watched an individual stock get included into an index. And we've certainly never seen anything on this scale like we have with Tesla, right? So, but I would tend to think that with as popular of a stock as Tesla tends to be among retail traders, the thing that I always see is the retail always gets screwed up. You know what I mean? I had somebody test one of my indicators because they have a lot more RAM than I do. And I was like, just try a week. And even on a week, it was, yeah. I don't know what the deal is, but for some reason, it takes a lot of memory. Yeah, you're talking to somebody that's been typing for like 20 years. 30 years. 30 years. Man, and when I type, it was like, I remember the IRC days, and you wanted to type fast because you wanted to beat the other people that were typing and stuff. How is the baby? He's doing good. He is a climber. He has become a real climber. Your Bitcoin is up over 30%. Yeah, well, how big of a move was this one overnight? That was to 1700. It's pretty big. But that's the thing that I find so crazy about it, is that like 20K is the big number everybody's going to be looking for. 20K still seems really far away, but I would be so surprised if they didn't push for it. I think, you know, so one of the, if we want to go into conspiracy theory land, like, we know that Tether is not 100, or at times has not been 100% backed, and that they've been loaning it out to people. And I'm sure that that's what's been happening lately, is that they've been loaning out Bitcoin to large institutions to do moves and stuff like that. I think that what happened, or the conspiracy theory, rather, I'm not saying I think, but the conspiracy theory has been that the Tether guys, you know, lost money. We know that they were things were kind of tight immediately after the big crash. And, you know, there was kind of that move in like 2018 or so that kind of fell apart. And there was like 2 or 3 of those. And so a lot of people have speculated, or the anti Bitfinex crowd, rather, have speculated that they're underwater. And if that's the case, then they would want to get it to 20K so that they can take their profit and not be in that situation anymore. So, like, I'm just watching it, and I'm like, there's no way that these people that are buying it are going to settle for anything less than 20K. If they're forced to do it, if a real sell comes in, then that's going to be really crazy ugly. But they're going to want 20K. How did you get that news bar up there? It's just an OBS filter reading out a text file. That's reading out the last X donations that we've had. Or actually, I have to clean it. I have to clear it out. probably is about time to do it because we've had a number of donations lately. But, you know, I wanted to give you guys something for donating. If you give to the chat, which, you know, is really awesome. I want to make it at some point. You know, I said I was going to do it last year and I didn't do it. I want to build an LED sign and then set it up so that it will also read that file, and then what you post will show up behind me. Oh, what's this? Climbing. Playcore found climbing at a young age helps spatial and directional awareness and also boosts physical skills such as balance, hand, foot coordination, and agility. Yeah, he can't walk yet, but he really likes to climb on things. And it's basically, it's to the point now where it's like, it's really hard to contain him. And you really have to keep an eye on him when he's about. I don't know. When you got me thinking about the Bitcoin thing again, because here's the thing, like in 2020, it was like, okay, we know that they're having a run, want to get involved in it, you know, so that I understand it, so that maybe I can get in on the next run. That one didn't quite work out the way that it wanted. It's not really behaving in a way that I feel comfortable being invested in it. So then it's like, well, we could use, you know, we can keep talking about it and using it for the channel. But the thing was, is when we like completely almost to the T predicted what it was going to happen last time. And we've called some major tops, 2 major tops since then. It's not really giving us the bottoms that we want, but it's definitely giving us the tops. And nobody really cares. And so I've kind of gotten to the point where it's like, I don't even really want to talk about Bitcoin I talk about it on the stream, but like, should I be making videos about it and things like that? And I'm like, who cares? It's not going to do anything. And do I really want to build the channel up that way? You know what I mean? Onyx High from Germany. Hey, we have a lot of people come in from Germany. Been surprised. We have I think at least 2 or 3 regulars that are in from Germany. Although we haven't heard as much from them ever since like the lockdown and everything. Like the lockdown like a few weeks ago. What's the record for the most simultaneous viewers? Oh, I don't know. So the thing is, the first time that we ever went live was when the Bitcoin futures started, and we had like 4,000 viewers that time. But, you know, it didn't carry over. Next stream after that, it was back to 30 or whatever. Which was and that's when we started streaming, so I didn't have anything to compare it against. But it was kind of interesting how that worked. That's one of the things that's so interesting. Is you're always thinking is that it doesn't work that way. The thing that brings people in is the long form content. So like I made a video about what kind of computer you should get for day trading. And that gets a lot of hits, and that has grown our channel. And that's why we're very consistently in the 40 to 50 range now instead of the, 20 to 30 range that we were before. Right. And then you get to the point where, a lot of people subscribe and it's recommending it to people, and that's where you really get picked up. But I've, as of yet, have not really gotten a video where you're getting a ton of people from the the thumbnails. Oh, it worked. It ran. That's cool. On a week in the E-mini, 600, but they do have high profit factors. Huh. Getting something else coming in here. I'm hearing on that. Oh, Red Book, of course. What trade are you in on the left? That's the micro ES. Do you see? I don't know if you can see up at the top, but they have the labels at the top: MES, ES, ZB, ZN, ZF. I took that original one. I was long around 35.59 because I was like, well, it's not really going anywhere. So I think that my original trade can take hold now, I guess you could say. And it was like they waited for me to buy it and then they dumped on me. Investment sentiment changing to all bullish again, and we all know everyone cannot win for too long. Yeah, I don't know. When I was taking this trade, I was just doing it based on the overnight positioning and everything. I mean, I thought, okay, yeah, retail sales should move them down a little bit, but that they're still at this support level that I think is going to hold. So that's why I took it. And I am looking for it to go a bit more to at least 3605. Well, we'll see. It's been a slow and steady trade. Probably, you know, we can manage this just in case some 5-point sweep comes in. It came back pretty fast, so. So I'm just thinking about what Vlad just said there about we all know everyone cannot win for too long. I mean, it kind of seems to me like with the Federal Reserve involved that like the market is acting like everybody can win forever, you know? And the thing that's so funny is I'm seeing everybody in the market talk about the Fed's next round of stimulus. Like nothing has even happened yet, and they're buying because they think the Fed is going to do something. But it's like, because lockdowns are going to get more strict, I can almost guarantee you. There are going to be some states that are going to have to just completely shut down at some point, and it's going to affect GDP in a negative way. I'm surprised that the European shutdowns hasn't affected the broader market more than it has. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, I come over and I look at the E-mini and they don't care about that at all. They're front running like there was a vaccine news and there was the Tesla thing. And it seems like every day now going into the close, there's this huge melt up in strong buy volume in the futures. And I'm like, what is going on? It's a mind-blowing behavior that we've been seeing, isn't it? That's why when parabolic probably shorts covered too. Yeah. It's kind of interesting because it seems to me that the traders that are trying to trade off of, you know, they're trying to do responsible strategies, I guess, are almost being punished for it, you know? Like all of those funds are just behind the market now. But it's like you said, I'm not going to say that things can't go up forever. I'm just going to say there's a cost for everything, you know, and how we pay that cost, I don't understand where it's going, where that goes. Do you think the S&P 500 is in bubble territory or just out overvalued? I'm really not sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure. I don't think that I really have a good way of looking at that. The probably the best way that I have of looking at that is like the Buffett indicator. The Buffett indicator says that we're overvalued. But I don't think I understand enough about that to really understand how that should behave in a situation like a pandemic. Because all I'm hearing is like vaccine, vaccine, vaccine. Meanwhile, we're having a rush in cases, likely shutdowns in, before the end of the winter, before vaccines are going to come, and that doesn't matter. But I can't say. Even when it happened in the beginning, I remember saying, well, this shouldn't be too bad. And it was like the sell was way harder than I ever thought it should be. But then it's like the buy is like way, so like we shouldn't be that high above all time, the previous all time high, right? All good news started this Monday. Well, you think that they're going to give it all up? I don't know. But that's where I'm coming in today, and I'm thinking like, well, okay, like the economic backdrop seems kind of bullish, except for that now we got that retail sales was very bad. So what are they going to do here on the open? And I think that we made the right call there, but I would have liked to have seen it move quite a bit higher. They weren't able to break out of the range. The 3,600 kind of kept us down, so... I'm kind of seeing something where it's like it was a good trade for a scalp, but for what I'm trying to take it for, maybe it wasn't. But we'll see. I'm seeing some people on Twitter talk about the shift to value, which is kind of also an interesting one, because I have been hesitant to buy into stocks. Not that I don't think that things won't keep going up, but because I haven't really seen the value opportunities. It's like everything that I see is just trading, and I'm not seeing companies where it's like, oh yeah, I really believe in that company, and I think that the price that I'm getting is good, and I should be able to buy this now and hold it for 10 years, But I've never claimed to be a stock guy. I guess I'm still learning in that area. How to discover edge in stocks. Some people see Tesla going to 600 now. I don't know. Like the question I have now is like, what were analysts saying? Because weren't most of the analysts saying that it was like well overbought? Especially off of their earnings and all that sort of stuff. I just like to see these sorts of things quantified. It's not about value, it's that money has to be parked somewhere. Well, that's not. I think it gets more complicated than that. If you're taking a short-term trade, then sure. Yeah, you buy it, they're going to have to buy it before it gets included in the index in December. There should be buying all month. But then after that, it's like the trade's over. Then what? At some point, it's probably going to drift back to value. All that printed money has to go somewhere. Well, that's the other funny thing is that for as much talk as there has been about the Federal Reserve coming in and, putting a lot of money out and everything else like that, at the moment, they're actually not doing that much. The amount that they've been buying compared to the amount that has to be issued is not really very favorable. Like, I think there's a really good chance that they might have to do something in December. But this goes back to this whole thing where it's like, well, you got to do something, but the market's already pumped too high. What do you do? How do you handle that? What are they, And some people seem to have been expecting something this last meeting, which was kind of silly. Where are they going to take it? I don't know. That next Fed meeting, though, was going to be very interesting. Well, the treasuries are falling back pretty hard. I think that shorting the treasury would have been a better trade here. George Clooney gifted his 14 best friends $1 million each. Wow, that's cool. Man, I should have been friends with George Clooney. Oh, well. Let's see here. Spot Gamma. 500 strike is the one with the most calls. Interesting. Amazon jumps into the pharmacy business with online prescription fulfillment, free delivery for Prime members. Ooh. Except for that, will my prescription plan allow me to use them right now? Probably not. Okay, we are getting another number here in a few minutes. Industrial production month over month, looking for a reading of 1%. But that's the thing that's interesting with today is there definitely seems to be a lot of catalysts for individual stocks out there. But the index at the moment is kind of sitting on support and kind of suggesting that they're not sure they can hold it. And the headline is that the futures are opening down. Airbnb files. They're not already public? Oh, I thought that they were a stock. What an interesting time for them to go public. Moderna announced a supply agreement with the UK to supply vaccine against COVID-19 as early as March 2021. It says source. I didn't say where that was from. It was being tweeted out by Live Squawk. Okay, here comes this industrial production number. Amazon just took a major step in disrupting the healthcare industry. I have some concerns about Amazon being a major and influential player in the healthcare industry, don't you? Okay, industrial production is higher than expected. 1.1 versus 1% expected. And utilization 72.8 versus an expected 72.3, and year over year negative 5.3 versus an expected negative, or since a previous of negative 7.3. So all around good numbers. Market, this is not a number that I typically see move the market strongly, so well, I didn't see an immediate reaction off of that one, but they did kind of sell back a little bit. It seems like large orders are coming in and starting to try and bump them around. They're not huge orders, but how big was that, actually? No, it was a 200 lot. Bid at 35.96. I'm kind of getting that thing where I feel like I'm so calm that I feel like I'm not even like breathing enough air. Like maybe I need to stand up and like jump and run or something and get the blood pumping, because I don't know. Okay, I noticed there that the treasury kind of did something and then the E-mini started coming back up. You have a question? Well, you should just ask questions instead of telling me that you have a question. That's what we're here for, my friend. My friend. Man, am I freaking John McCain or something? What is your strategy? Oh, I just click things. No. So what I'm trying to do, if you're expecting me to come in and say I wait for a 5-minute bar that's green and the RSI to be this and to be this, I don't trade technicals. What I'm looking for an imbalance in the market based on order flow, supporting level 2 behavior, and news. So the trade right now, the market is quite short. It's a very imbalanced short, and I saw some behavior down in there suggesting to me that they were exhausted at the bottom, and that's why I bought it. And the overall economic backdrop that we're getting is good. Of course, the retail sales wasn't a positive thing, but I'm not so sure that really matters. That the number was so bad that it affects the outlook. And honestly, it was a number that I think was somewhat expected. So Yeah. So that's why I'm in this trade. And then because of the way that I get the imbalance, because the way that I get the imbalance is I'm looking at every order and I'm running a simulation about how market makers will manage their positions. So I'm basically trying to simulate how many contracts they actually have on at the time and where they got them from. So I'm looking for them to come back to the areas where the positions were taken. In this case, somewhere around 36.15. Well, there's two spots. There's 36.04 and there's 36.15. Roughly. So I'm expecting that, well, I mean, this is going okay, but the trade is that we should trade up on the open and we should probably come back up to around the 36.14 level. In this case, you analyze HFT, not so much. I'm looking at every limit order that gets filled. Yes, John Smith, that's exactly it. Are you working under the assumption that limit orders are market makers? Yes. So, yeah, that's why it's really important, because I remember somebody commenting on a video a while back of us like, "Oh, you can't do that. That doesn't work." And I was like, "Well, it's a model. I got to be really clear that it's a model and that any model will have flaws in it, right?" So one of the assumptions is that all of the limit orders are considered like the market makers. That's what we're analyzing. I also have assumptions in there about when they take profits. It can't factor in losses. If I had a way to see whether an order was a stop or not, then I could probably use that to try and factor in losses. But right now it just factors in profits. So you can try this indicator, by the way. I haven't really been actively promoting it on the channel yet because I need to make a video about it, and I don't know what it is that I was supposed to do. I don't want to be like an indicator salesman huckster guy, you know what I mean? Because there's so many people out there just trying to sell stuff, and it's annoying. And I feel like that it's really effective, and just the fact that it works should do all the work for me, right? But you can try it. If you go to speculatorseth.com, you can download the indicator suite and try it out. It gives you a 2-week trial. And then after the 2-week trial, you have to be subscribed to the channel with the elite membership to keep it going. And I do all of that by hand. But so you can try it and put it on an indicator. You have to have tick replay turned on, but it's called the inventory cost basis. And I just show you with the picture of it because I don't think that I've shown it to you guys here yet this morning. So you see there's this dotted blue line is the buyer's break even line. And this orange line is the seller's cost basis, buyer's cost basis, and then the seller's break even line. So what that means is that, buyers will take profits up and through here and make some money on these swings up here. So there's a little bit of money that they've made, but below that, they've lost more money on the contracts that they theoretically have on than they've made on the contracts that they've taken profits on. And that's where I get those numbers from. So we'll see. The problem with it is that it's not necessarily predictive. It just gives you really good levels to play. Like, when you take, especially at the cost basis, those are like the key decision points. Well, that's interesting. Thomas said, while knowledge is one of the few things that can be transferred to others without those from whom it is transferred having any less remaining for themselves. Good morning, Ace. So the chart, when you look at the bars, I see all sorts of patterns that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that. But in reality, they don't necessarily matter. But we got 5 minutes, so. Now, I'll tell you a couple of other things that I do look at. I don't have it mapped out like you, but I'm definitely considering who's trapped where they break even flipping green to red. Yeah, exactly. No, John, that's what I find so interesting about it. When I found this was like, I was always doing that with volume profile, but I always found these situations where it was like, well, I can see something's going on here, but like, are people taking profits or are people taking new positions in the opposite direction here, or what's going on, right? And I've found that when you have the model like that up there always calculating it, you'll start to realize that some of those scenarios don't make sense. Like the way that it's worked out after that, it doesn't make sense. That's what's actually going on. So then when you combine that with what you already know about volume profile, it's like it becomes really, really powerful. And then the real key is that I can give you a level to play, but you will have to determine which way they're going to take it. And that's when we get into everything else that we're looking at on the depth of market, and especially our understanding of the news and the market as a whole. Yeah, you still have to tape read. It's basically, it's like, if I was to just try and describe my strategy in like the most salesman-y terms, it would be know where it's going. Basically, know which direction it's going, and then this will tell you where it's going, and then you play it. So I give you a good example. Yesterday, I think I can show you because it'll still be up. Yes, sir. Was that which one? Which one was it actually? Oh yeah, it was right here. Okay. Yesterday had a pretty good rise in the morning, and then it came back to this cost basis here. So at this point, you very often will see bounces off of this cost basis. It's a decision point essentially right there at that seller's cost basis. Are they going to go up or are they going to go down? Well, when you look at the stop out lines, the break-even lines, the break-even line here is pretty close. The break-even line on the upside is like way out there. You can't even see it on the chart, right? So that kind of makes this down here really attractive. And it wasn't really moving with any intention. So it was like, well, if it's just trading, there's a good chance that they're going to come down here and get this. And so there's the bounce, and then I immediately see it fail. I'm thinking, oh, okay, I should go short. So I went short, sat through all of this. Goosh. And that was actually like a range. So like if you were taking a eight handle target, then you would have gotten out like right there. But then what do you know? They go down to the stop out zone in the end, and they get out. That's about as perfect of a trade as I can get. That one was so right on the ball, and I posted it on Twitter, and I said that something accuracy like that can only be the result of pure chance, right? That was what I was thinking. I was like, that one was just too perfect. There's no way that's not going to happen very often that you get it that close. But that's the example of the kind of trade that I'll make. But like I said, it requires a heavy amount of context, right? Like I need to have an idea of what is the news for the day and what is driving the action at that moment. And there's a lot of other, like one thing that I would factor in today that I can give you is that it's Wednesday. And no, it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. A lot of money gets put to work on Wednesdays. There's like a weekly flows in the markets, and Wednesdays is one of the points where you see some of the strongest inflows. Anyways, like I said, I really should spend more time on sharing it with you guys, because one of the reasons that I putting it out there is that I want more people using it, and we have a Discord room for just the people that are subscribed, so that we can talk about it, so that we can like develop it more, because it's like a new thing, and like if it's just me looking at it, you're only going to get so much out of it. But when it's, you know, we have a group of people working together, we can make it better, and you know, a lot can be built there. So I really should be pushing it more. But it's speculatorsset.com, and you can check it out. Rob says that's like the 1st and 15th heavy flows. Yeah. Well, there's monthly flows too. It's really interesting. It's something that especially if I'm a new trader, I would spend a considerable amount of time trying to investigate. And you're going to have to, you know, do the stats and kind of figure it out in your own way based on the things that you look at. But there are just like on the day, you know, because there's the open and everything, we kind of have like a daily routine and periods that we know, like we know when the S&P 500 opens up that there's going to be a lot of volume, right? It's the same thing. He says, I've been slacking. Yeah, I need you to go and download the new indicator, and you don't have to be subscribed to the channel, because you helped me test it, and so that you can get into that channel and everything. Oh, no, wait, I don't think you can get into the channel without having... I think I can give it to you in Discord. Yeah, what was it going? Oh, yeah. I need you to download and install the packaged version of it, and then I can authorize you on it so that you can use all the other stuff. So there's other stuff like these depth tapes. You ever had a situation where, you know, if you're a DOM reader, you want to know about a significant change on the DOM, maybe a really, really big order just showed up on the E-mini, and it's like you don't necessarily see it right away. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, there's this 900 lot sitting up here. I didn't even realize that was there. Well, this market depth tape, what it will do is it will alert you to a large change in the depth. So anytime, and it will make a sound. I have it set up to be a click. You hear that little click? So that was a click of somebody adding an offer at 3603. You can see them right there, 218. So that's some of the other stuff that's included. Actually, it's funny. That's the one that everybody wanted was the market depth tape add-on. So you get access to the market depth tape on that too. Sticks Hammer, I am now on Rumble. What is that? It's a video website. It looks like it. I have to look on that later. Kramer on J. Powell. I commend him for recognizing the American strategy that is developing between here and the vaccine. Okay. Well, it's been a pretty tight open so far. So how far has Tesla? Did Tesla just go? Let's see here. Tesla first support 450, 446, 95 under to watch. So are you saying that they're pulling back in Tesla? I should just pull it up. I don't like having that other application open. It's like kind of annoying. My application where I get the stock data. Yeah, he says, yeah, it's kind of pulling back. All right, well. So I'm thinking about how this goes. Like if the short scenario starts to come in here, that kind of ends into a scenario that I don't think I've ever seen before. At that point, it becomes really hard for me to tell what it's going to do. I suppose that there's some areas back at like 35.90, but I still think that the upside is probably a much more likely scenario. That was a pretty good sell that they had there, though. The ace caught. Use 83608 would be stops. Yeah. Now, this is kind of the problem with a larger play like this, is that like maybe they eventually do get up here, but like they could meander all over the place before then, right? Okay, so here they go in. I think that we should dump here. I'm gonna just take a small loss because that looks like they're gonna go for that overnight low. In fact, should I be taking it short right there? That's not particularly what we want. We do have like business inventories and stuff at the top of the hour. Okay. Okay. Big eye spies. Well, there was some big volume down there at the bottom. I have to say though, that move down there though, I mean, it's interesting that it stopped where it did, isn't it? Because there was a lot of volume short. Feels a little tense. Do you have an average target? Yeah, well, like I was looking for it to get up to 06. Or are you saying like I might, is there a place where I'm trying to, right now I'm trying to build work at position and just because I can see it ranging around in here. So my goal is to get it below the low. We'll see what we can do here. There's definitely volume trading here. Seems to be a much more orderly open. Yeah, I don't know. Like the direction and everything, it feels very directionless, but it's so much calmer than it's been, isn't it? Okay. Still the volume coming in. I'm going to reset it again here. All right. Oh, wow. It doesn't look like any of the scenarios that I was looking for are really working out, are they? I guess we can try it after this low again. Let's look and see if there's anything that might give us a hint on the volume profile. There is this area. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong chart. In the 80s. You became much better at managing trades, you think? Oh, I kind of had this mentality change to like it really should start going my way immediately, you know? See, like that's not what I want at all. Also, I didn't really take the profit like I should have, right? Okay, well, let's see here. Okay, that's a little bit more like what I want to see. No, see, I agree with him. Nubatan in Discord was talking, saying bears are certainly attempting a sell-off, but terrible location. And that's like exactly what I'm thinking, is like they're selling it a whole lot here for an area that I'm not so sure they can really maintain. Notice that even after that was a pretty impressive pullback. Do I want to say pullback? I mean that move by the bulls was pretty good. The cumulative delta hasn't really actually come in turned long yet. Are all of those shorts going to have to unwind? Because that's about a 4,000's worth of shorts. Especially 97 is a spot from the regular session. Tesla's all over the place. Tom Brainerd asking why. Were you asking why I think that's a poor location? It's just like all of the positioning and everything is like up above us. So like, if you're going to be going short here, how do I put this? If you're going to be going short here, you have to be thinking that we're going to go all the way down to like 3,500 area. And the question is, are we seeing something that says that we're going to have that big of a shift in the index? So if we don't think that it is, then it's just kind of trading. And then what you get is a lot of people trying to sell into an area where it's going to exhaust really easily. Because there's not a whole lot of other orders, people to wash out. You know what I mean? You're just likely to sell the bottom. I could help throwing a couple of guys in me. There you go, Lucas. Oh, that was you selling, wasn't it? Another thing is that, like, when you look at the VIX ranges and everything, like, the downside VIX target would be 35.74. So if it goes, then but you can see, like, look at the cumulative delta. We got a good trade there, but the cumulative delta is not pulling through yet. It's equal volume through all that. So let's reset it again. That was a lot sold there. Yeah, we got a bell. Can I do it again? I can do it again. Yes, the follower. Oh, I am noticing that, yeah, there is some spreading going on here. Just a tiny bit. Well, in the larger scheme of things, it's a tiny bit, but... Okay. That was pretty strong buying that came in there. What was that big order? It was an ask being put on at 90.25. Oh, look at that. Somebody's bumping it there. I am so lucky. I should definitely take it there. So. Yesterday, I believed market never goes down. Today, market goes. Well, I tell you what, they sure ain't cooperating with us here, are they? Is there anything you don't believe? You say there's a cell program running? Well, man. I mean, I can try just FOMOing into something here. I'm sure that then that'll make it turn, right? Hmm. Well, maybe we are going to the 70s after all. I don't know. It's pretty relentless, isn't it? I mean, look at the degree of the sell that's coming in just since we took it there. Time-wise is a little interesting too. I don't like how that one went down. Okay, so here comes the next set of numbers. Business inventories, housing index, so forth. Morning after European barbecue ends? What? Morning V after European barbecue ends? I don't know. I don't know what's going on over here, to be honest. It's just a lot of relentless volume coming in short on, I'm not really entirely sure why. Business inventory is better than expected. Well, the way that they came up there like that.
was pretty bullish, wouldn't you say? Well, I guess in the end, I should have just waited for the business inventories off of all that, huh? Okay. That's a lot of volume. Well, there was a really aggressive buying volume coming in, but then I look back over here and it's still not like meaningfully reversing in the cumulative deltas. So I guess I should still be a little cautious here. Home builder sentiment is blowing out the top of the chart, says Forex Live. So I'm noticing market makers are taking a little bit less down here now. Clamping down a little bit right there, but I've seen a couple of these where they, like 35, 88, 25, only 15 contracts. What about the treasury here? Nope. Not my day, I guess. Or it's just a short day today. I'll still try it with 2, but if all the money is just going to come in short, then our edge on positionings isn't going to help a whole lot, is it?
Nope. Really? I don't know. I see like buys and they look really strong, but then I look at the cumulative delta and it doesn't change. Hmm. I'm gonna walk away for a second because this is frustrating. I took all of those on the throwaway account because I never caught a winner. So like it's okay, I could keep going and switch, but we're kind of in an area where I don't think we have an edge. So is everybody in the Discord room as well? There's, you know what? The people in the Discord and the people in the YouTube, it's like a completely different set of people. So, oh yeah, I do want to. No, not like that. Okay. Okay.
So it took one just as kind of a test. I'm going to try switching now. You know, I'm not entirely thrilled about that spot, so. Yeah, okay. 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 I'm looking at 94.50 would be enough of a pullback for a lot of technical traders to pull off the gas pedal. We still really need to see that. I mean, I'm seeing some. So we've been in this for a while, and you're getting a decent amount of you know, that's not that much. Decent amount of imbalance, but not a lot of volume. Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at, you know, I have enough information to kind of game out people's positions for the RTH session. And I'm seeing like 3,600 above us, so. See if we stage this comeback here, huh? It's looking good there in the treasury. And let's say it looks close. I think that's going to fill, though. Okay, and they did break the range. It didn't fill, it ticked up.
this right. Oh no, wait, didn't I have a... Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay. A little confused about what I did there on the 10-year, but... Okay. I'm seeing on Twitter now that the OPEC JMMC is concluding without a recommendation, according to delegates, is hitting Twitter right now. Okay, that's pretty good. The victories there by the Bulls. I'm still not seeing the real move in cumulative delta that I want to see, but that's really, really confidence inspiring. That gives me a lot more confidence. So let's... I was thinking like up there somewhere. I guess there was a big offer placed up there somewhere. 95? Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, the treasury is certainly turning like it's going to go down. In fact, I'm kind of wondering if I should... Yeah, okay. Oh, wait, pulled? The market maker pulled there? Oh, what's this? Jake Sherman, Team Biden will announce later their senior staff today. Anthony Bernal, Senior Advisor to Jill Biden. Mike Dalton, Senior Advisor to Joe. O'Malley Dillon, Deputy COS. Dina Remus, Counsel. Those are all just counselors. Okay, so there was some volume at 08, but... Oh. What? He's saying that, where did he get that? Hold on, because I don't see Jake saying it over here. That's weird. This information was embargoed, but I didn't get under the embargo, says Jake. Well, okay. That's weird. My eyes watering a lot today, guys. No, well, it looks like this is going to be the range, and we should try and reduce size there a little bit. I guess the Republicans are going to have the battle over Sheldon. This is that Fed nominee that's kind of a bit of a gold bug and that they don't want on the Federal Reserve, right? Schumer saying Shelton is an unqualified Fed nominee. Why is investing.com so iffy on their site? Half the time it looks like their site is shut down. Yeah, I don't know, man. The economic releases that is built into Jigsaw, if you have Journalytics, is great. It's pretty good. And the Financial Juice subscription is pretty good. Here, I'll show you the Financial Juice one. Here's the Financial Juice one. And you can come in and like put alerts in and stuff. So like you can come in on this one and I can say, okay, if business inventories, the actual is greater than X, then I want it to give me a sound. So as soon as it comes out, you can hear it. And they have it all there. And then they have like a Twitter feed in here. And then you hear him say it over the squawk. And that is 70? Yeah, 70 a month. Stickwell says, nice, you got the Financial Juice Pro. Yeah. Well, I got in when they were doing founding. I was literally like, well, I mean, you might remember when that all happened, Stickball. I saw their webinar. I saw what they were offering. And I was like, $700 for life? I can't pass that up. So I did it that day. And I think it's been worth it. Yeah, I showed you it and you knew about it but weren't using it. Oh, yeah, well, I think that the last time that you showed it to me was before all of that. That was like, so there was like this time period where let me go back. Originally, Financial Juice was just restreaming somebody else's stream, but like 5 minutes delayed or something, which I thought was like absolutely useless. So then there was a time period where they had their own squawk and it was just free. And you guys told me about it, but I assumed that it was still just that old one. So I didn't really look into it. And then I saw the webinar and that they were doing you could become a founding member and everything. And so I jumped on it then. So you're right. I was stupid. I was stubborn and kind of ignored you guys because you weren't the only one that told me about it too. Trading economics is a pretty good one. I really still like the Forex Factory one. That's a free one. I like it just because, you come in and there's the graph and there's the details about it so you can see what it actually is and all this information. It's not the greatest for getting the actual number, but if you want to know what's coming up, this calendar is great. But if you want to know what the number is, you gotta get Financial Juice Pro, man. $70 a month. And we're going to be making a video about that soon. Or, like I said, there's the Jigsaw. So if you get Jigsaw, then that Journalytics is included in that, and you get their economic releases, which is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's faster than all of those free calendars out there. Now this is interesting because I'm sitting here like I think I got a pretty good trade there, but now I'm realizing that my position wasn't super awesome or anything.
Block buy.
They snatching it up there in the 10-year. Something's going on. That was a real battle. Okay.
Block buy.
They do take it. I'm gonna follow this to my detriment. That was something else. Something is going on in the treasury. He bought and cleared 2 whole prices. Even though the E-mini's still looking pretty okay. Okay. Hey. I'll put that one out there again. Oh, look at her go. Well, I'm still looking for 3604 on the upside was the original trade. I don't know if that's going to happen. It sure looks like a pretty good comeback. We are starting to get some real actual buy volume come in. Like that last rush of volume in the E-mini was probably a significant buy signal. I suppose I could try. You sure, why not? Like right here at the top of the profile. No, cancel that and yeah. Well, look at the treasury falling down now. Are they going to go down through the other side? Oh, I'm actually... Still hearing stuff about the OPEC thing. Oil is like all over the place. It hasn't really moved as significantly as I thought it would off of all this. Chuck Grassley will immediately quarantine after exposure to coronavirus. Oh no. We can't lose Grassley. I mean, it's not like I have like any particular like or dislike for that guy, but he's a significant guy in this Senate, and that would be big news if he died. That would be the most significant coronavirus death if he died. I'm thinking about this trade in the 10-year that I took. And when they bought 08 and 08 half, and I still took the contracts at 08 half and 09, that was a different kind of trade from what I would normally do. And I'm unsure why I was so confident and willing to take it. But I was just like, I'm not going for it. That was weird. I'm really happy that I did it, but I'm thinking back on it and I'm like,
Am I just being crazy and I'm just lucky that it worked out? Because I'm not sure I understand what my reasoning was at the time. I know that 06.5 is my buyer's line. I'm not so sure that they're going to push down to, like, say, the 03. E-mini move is just like slow and steady. Like if we get above that open, you're gonna have to wonder now, what was the sell? What was the sell? Just some big institution came in and needed to sell stuff, I guess. What instrument is Berkshire Hathaway hiding from its 13F disclosure? Oh, they can do that? I've never heard of that. What's the poll? PayPal, Tesla, Bitcoin, other. Need none of the above, probably. I don't think that it'd be any of those. I can't see Warren Buffett getting in any of those. Okay, here comes the open. It's very close. So we're at the buyer's line. They're toying with going up to the open. If they get above it and they start hitting those stops, I'm like, well, how far can they really go? But I think that's why I probably should take it one off here. That'll be good. That'll move us down to where we really should have been. Now, actually, it's way further than that I would like to be in at, so. Virginia professor resigns after anti-Biden post. The Hill. Let's read this. A college professor at a Virginia school resigned on Monday after posting that supporters of President-elect Joe Biden are ignorant, anti-American, and anti-Christian. That's not true. You shouldn't have said that. Okay, well. I don't like that he's going to be canceled, but I don't think that he should say that. I'm not a huge fan of Joe Biden voters either, but I don't think that they're like anti-American or anything. Maybe there are a lot of anti-Christian people out there. That's something. Somebody was asking me where can you find number of network transactions on Bitcoin. Never mind, found it.
So we actually are getting some days over here where, so the all-time high in daily transaction value is 5 billion. And we did have a spike recently at the beginning of November that was up there. But then it's come back to 2 billion. Maybe that's all they're doing something. Well, I think that now that, well, they haven't done it yet, but I think that if they take the high, I think that 3604.05 area is actually quite likely. Beyond that, it starts to get a little questionable. I mean, the seller break-even line, because the sellers have made so much, the seller break-even line is all the way up there at 3620. 3620 would be about on par with where the VIX daily target is going to be, although we haven't necessarily always been hitting these days. Actually, no, we've been doing okay lately. So we might be able to just let this really ride. And again, we haven't seen the volume come back yet, the cumulative delta come back. So if the cumulative delta is going to balance back out, you know, that was like 10,000 contracts sold and now we're on highs again. The treasuries do look like they might come back through. With this one, I want to take it there. Notice that the liquidity drops out after that because that's past the spread. Wait, is it always like that? 51 to 50? No, it's not like that in the 5-year. Oh, at the top of the hour, we get the ECB president speaking. He's saying, so you're saying I should get in long here? For the kind of risk reward that we would be looking for with you, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know how much of a pullback we could get here before they do it, if they do it. Uptick there in the 10-year. Did they touch 06? They did touch 06. They seem hesitant to be trying to push it beyond that. You're already in long at 3,600. Okay, that's fair. I still see the imbalance in the books, so I don't think we're at a huge risk of a big excursion on us at the moment. So it's looking good there. They have to fight for every step, but they're going okay. There was a downtick in the 10-year again. I'm seeing stuff on Twitter about Bitcoin. There you go, 17,360. Okay. Ooh, there you go. Okay, so there's the stop run. Oh my. And to 05. Yes. And take one. Okay. Now if it comes back to here. Otherwise, I think I can just let it run. Now, if they go to 3620, that's going to be funny, but I don't know. So I can see kind of like some turns, pivots at 3608 that they're gonna be interested in, but there's still like this 3612 area up above us that I think is probably more interesting. You want me to Venmo your money? Just see. You can put in a YouTube no just put in a YouTube subscription. There you go. Okay, it's an interesting comment that Futures Trader 71 is retweeting. From Anne Marie. I don't know this girl, although I know they've been promoting her a lot. It's just kind of interesting. It says trading is a thinking person's game, and if you do not have the ability to reason through what we might see within the charts, we will consistently have difficulty in the field. I agree. The issue is that with just price and even with your footprint all alone doesn't always tell you enough information to really understand what happened. You'll still get these situations where it could have been one of two things and you don't know. Jeff, 20 handles on 100. Wow. Did you really? On the E-mini trade? Well, I'm still trying to think through, like, why was it where it was, when we bottomed where we did, and where was that? 84? Yeah, down in here. Do I see the change? There's the change right there. I was taking longs in that area. But I was taking longs the whole time, so I can't. But then you can see it. Do you see how the imbalance in the book just changed? And then it's been nothing but longs since then. Now, the issue is, if you're trying to be early, is that we saw that change in a number of places, and you can see that that's where I was taking longs, in fact. So it's not like the spots that I was getting were crazy. It's just done, it is clearly not enough. Nothing that I'm looking at right now would really have guaranteed that I would have only taken that one. So I don't know. What do you do? I don't know. See this guy in Discord, Wilson. He's a newer guy. He says you may crush the small fish, but big fish always win, and I mean almost always. I used to think that way. I don't think it's. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that now, though. I think that the reality is that the index will move more than you expect it to. Like any instrument will move more than you expect it to, basically. It's the fat tail problem. I think that in retail we're falling victim to the fat tail problem. Like, we're taking a trade where it's like, you think that it's like this. How do I draw this? You think that it's like this. And you say, okay, I'll it's going to stay in here. So I'm going to get in on something that's like this outlier right here. And then it's going to come back to the mean. And the reality, though, if this is like 0, the reality is that it's really more like this. And the area under here, is greater than the area under here, or they're more equal than we think. So we're looking for it to, go within this certain mean, and it's almost always comes out and blows you out. And you look at all these like you're going to back test it and all of these things, but the way that the market moves is it's just always going for those. That's why it seems like it's like the big fish are coming after you. Because every time that I think I'm seeing something and I'm like, it's coming after me, it hates me, whatever, it always eventually comes my way. It's just, it always goes further than I expect. And I can't find any way to figure out how far it's actually going to go. Probably the stops are what's doing that.
And since I can't see those, that's maybe a one theory. In the end, though, after having taken all of those losses, we did come out positive. And in fact, if we, let's see here, if we change it to which account we used, account, if we limit it to the serious account, I did amazing. Was I just like waited until I had one that was actually kind of looking good, and then I switched over. So I don't know. Now I took 3 contracts on that one too. That matters. But that's still like $50 a contract. That's great. And it's probably going to be more than that because we're holding it till at least 15, I think. Now, on the other side, on this treasury trade, I think it was a great trade. They seem hesitant to get below that buyer's line, though. And in fact, they're kind of, it looks like they're imbalanced a little bit. But that must be because that average line must just be where they want it from the auction. I'm not sure if we can get there before the auction. Maybe after the auction, which is in 30 minutes. Let's give Jack here. He's been participating. We'll give him regulars roles. Yeah, the buy, the way that it came back up there in the treasury, that's interesting. Let's see here. What's this from Andrew Ross Sorkin? Quoting Mayoshi-san, I would rather accept my stupidity and my ignorance, my bad decisions, so that I can learn from my mistakes. I don't need to justify my mistakes. I accept them. It's better to accept them so I become smarter. Zero hedge, learning from my mistakes. Buying Bitcoin at all-time highs, selling months later for 70% loss. Oh, yeah. 2020, buying NASDAQ at all-time highs with call spreads. Oh, they're talking about Andrew, because that's what he did. That's what, yeah, okay. That's what Mayoshi did.
It's interesting to me that both these prices at 08 and 07 half are willing to pull quite a bit. So it seems to me, this is what I think about the book. I've thought about this a number of times, but I've never told you guys about it. It seems to me that there's like this liquidity out there, right? There's going to be like a certain amount out there that they put at every price. But then there's the area where they actually care about it. So maybe like that, right? And then there's this other liquidity that is literally just trying to play like the inside price or whatever. Or is they're like, they're not actually looking to get filled. They're just getting their spot in line. Like if the trader wants to take it, then it's there for them. But otherwise, it's going to pull before you get executed. That makes sense? No matter what he draws, it always looks sexual. I don't think that I'm drawing it very good here. So like, just as an example, what we got up here is like, you'll see, how can I draw this? What's the best way to draw this? Okay, like here we will see 3,000, right? But in reality, there's only 1,500 that really wants to fill, and 1,500 that's going to pull. Phil, there's your sexual part about it. All right. Right. But then sometimes let's say that these are bits, okay? Sometimes you see 3,000 and you actually see 3,000 trade. And maybe 50 of this that pulls. You get what I mean? Now draw boobs. No. So when I look at it right now, it seems to me that this area right here, they're doing that. You see how it's like there's 1,300 and then it'll switch and this will be 1,300. But when we traded this area down here, actually you probably used the wrong color there, huh? I should probably use the blue. This is the blue area where they pull. And this is the area where they're taking the fills. But you can't see that when you look on the book. You can only see that when they actually get there and you see the prices pull. That makes sense? Tom, I'm back. What happened? I don't know how far back you were going. I was just trying to explain the way that I look at the book. And I was just noticing that. So the idea is this. Here's a deeper theory. The market maker is most concerned about getting executed in an area where for taking toxic flow. And by toxic flow, we mean they're taking fills against informed traders. So they have this area in between where it's actually relatively balanced, and only the HFTs are really playing that for like a tick, right? And then there's this spot further out where the market makers are actually willing to take it. Now, how do you know where that spot is? You can't actually see it on the level 2, not directly. You have to see. The only way I know to tell is it ticks up to it. So if, for instance, we clear 07.5 and they stack 1500 at 07.5, what does 07 do? I would expect that 07 would stay relatively firm, that there would still be about 2000 on there, right? If it ticks down and they're starting to go into it and there's still 3400 on there, what does that tell you? Market makers willing to take executions there. If it doesn't, if it pulls to the 1400 or 500 on nothing, for some reason, the market maker thinks that they're going into informed trading, and so they're pulling because they think that these guys are informed. So they don't want to take these. They're pulling their bids down, and where that's going to be, I don't know. So the question then becomes, how can we quantify this? I can see it happen. I think I can see it happen, but how do I get my histogram to show it? Because that's what I've been trying to do, and it seems like the histogram kind of does it, but I don't know. It's not quite there. Ace, we were sharing our most embarrassing sexual moment. It's your turn. Oh, okay. Tesla low of the day 442. But it was like 400 yesterday, right? That's still up pretty big, right? Okay, so like here's a great example right here at 08.5. There's still 3600 stacked on there. And I would not expect that to just pull. I want the fill there. That's why I have it there. I want the fill. I think they want the fill too. And if I get it, both of these prices were being like, they weren't holding liquidity. So I could, if I get it, I could do that. Okay, so now it is pulling. Now that's curious. Now why? Well, it's 2000, but so why that change? Momentum against them. Maybe the E-mini had a little bit of a sell there. Let's see here. Currencies, the dollar doing something? No. Spreads? Could it be a spread thing? Well, the spreads are kind of interesting. There was a little bit of steepening on the knob spread on this last leg down. 2s and 10s is kind of a little bit more complicated than that. Okay, but we're still seeing about 2000 there, so, and they're hitting into them. I tell you what, the E-mini, it's just like a slow-moving train, isn't it? They've barely come back at all on any of these. This just in, Giuliani files to represent Trump campaign in Pennsylvania case. Oh, because those other guys bailed on him? That whole thing is just so weird. I saw the video. So Sidney Powell was supposed to, this lawyer, she was supposed to release the Kraken today, And I woke up this morning and I saw something about it, and it was basically like they are filing a big court case against one of these ballot counting firms. I don't remember if it was Dominion or who it was. And they had a whistleblower who says that they used it to flip elections in South America or something like that. And I'm like, that's it? Like, you need like direct evidence of it happening in this election to overturn a result, though? But maybe it ends up being bigger than it's like. Maybe right now it seems like it's a nothing burger and it ends up getting bigger, because it does seem like a serious lawsuit. If Tesla makes a miracle recovery, will also be very well. I don't know. I don't know. Let's pull the chart up. I'll do the freaking chart. So do you see it's been bid for a while, and the bid at 08 is stronger? But they're still not pulling because they want the fills. Ah, okay, 1206. They took it. So now it ticks back down, and look, the market maker is like 2,000. Oh, okay. So he's playing with it a lot there. Oh, look at Tesla. I don't know why you're talking about like a miracle recovery or anything. Like, listen, anything above 410 on Tesla is great. Do you think MES is going to hit the overnight high? I'm not looking that far. I'm looking for this one right here. So 15 is the near-term target. There are positions overnight from about 25. And the stops are way out there, 36, 33. So that's possible, but this is way further than I think I can really try and guesstimate. But what is going to happen between now and then? There goes the E-mini for another new high. The volume still hasn't balanced out, by the way. So I've never seen a day in the E-mini where the cumulative delta ended up being this out of whack. Okay, so they took quite a bit there at 08.5, and now somebody's bidding at 08.5. So the question is, was that informed trading that bought us up there? Maybe I should short and find out. How many people would need to take a COVID-19 vaccine to make it effective? I would think at least 75%. I don't know. Man, that Fauci guy just keeps saying stuff that I'm like, that doesn't seem right based on what we know about medicine. It should be effective for everybody that takes it. Okay, they took it down there. Do you see that the market maker wasn't willing to take the buys at 08.5? 926 to trade back down, even though there was 2,000. It was fake. What? Polling USA, Republican 2024 primary polling. Who it will be the 2024 Republican nominee? Donald Trump, 25%. Mitt Romney, 19%. Dude, no, but Mitt Romney's going to run again. Please, no. Pence, 14%. Haley, 9%. Cruz, 8%. Well, that's interesting that Cruz is behind Haley. Kasich will almost certainly run again, 8%. Rubio, 7%. I think Rubio will run again too. Carlson, 5%. He's no. Pompeo, 2% no. Rick Scott, yes. 2%. Santorum, I don't. Do you think Santorum will run again? I don't think he will. Locked in 4 points. Good job, Ace. Was kind of a risky one in terms of the possibility of an adverse excursion against us, but I think that we got lucky, and once we knew there was in the clear, it's a good trade, right? I just wish that we could have known where it was going to stop down at the bottom a little bit better. How do I deal with that? When we're coming down in the E-mini, I have to be thinking informed trading, right? Maybe I need to look at this VPIN stuff more. I need to come up with a better measure of probability of informed trading. Gary says it looks like these rallies are not holding up. I don't know. It's really hard for me to make much sense of this last move, to tell you the truth. I mean, the rally into the late day rally was, I thought, really quite absurd. Maybe they were buying because of the whole Tesla thing. I don't know, but that was just really crazy. And then, I would expect it to come down overnight. Sure. But then that opening drive was something else. And it was a 10,000 contract sell. And now we're well above all of that. And we've only come back about 3,000 of that. Now we're still trending higher. I think that we might get a little bit of a pullback, and then we might be able to get back up to 3615 is the area that I was looking for. But I still come back to that sell on the open. What was that? Because if it was just traders trading, the deltas would have evened back out. But because we've come that much higher and the deltas are not evening back out, suggests to me that a fund came in with a sell program, and maybe they were just, they had to take profits, or because of redemptions and those sorts of things. Although why would what kind of fund would be doing that on the 17th? So we did tick down 2000 to tick down at 08, and now we see that the 07 half is pulling again. Stickball says, are you talking about VPIN? Yes and no. So VPIN is, I think, based on so the whole thing with VPIN, as I understand it, is that they're trying to do what you would be able to do with order flow, but because most of the time they don't have that data, they're trying to determine it based off of the price within that candle and the volume and everything, to determine volume probability of informed trading or whatever. Yeah, probability of informed trading. Why is it not VPIN-T? Anyways, but with here we have cumulative delta and all of that, So how do I turn that into a probability of informed trading? Is it as simple as looking at the delta for that bar? And surely there's a more sophisticated way of doing it. And I'm more interested in, you know, like what we get here in the jigsaw. It's like, okay, they traded 2,000. That's not a ton. 616, like they were able to take away half bid, but they weren't able to hold it for very long. And it looked like the people that were on the offer there, they wanted it. These guys here at 07.5, they know it's a slippery price. The market makers aren't necessarily trying to take that one. I think that these areas are great for taking profits because it's a lot easier to get a fill in here, right? Tom says if the limits are thin and there are no icebergs, then delta makes sense. I think so too. You really got into like the next thing that I was thinking was like, most of the time it probably is good, but then how do you factor in icebergs and the level 2 just completely pulling and all of that sort of stuff? It's like I can kind of game out in my mind what is maybe the probability of informed trading. But the issue that I have with that is that usually I realize that I'm in the wrong spot going against informed trading way too late, right? Cool. So they gave us that one. And furthermore, how are they? I'm still reading that book, so I haven't gotten there yet. But I really want to try and find a model for which I can calculate where on the 10-year I should expect the market makers to actually want it versus not. The spread is a measurement of VPIN. Well, how exactly, what do you define as the spread? Because in the 10-year, the spread is always just one tick, right? Or are we talking about something different? So I've always wondered that. When I'm reading these things and they talk about the spread, for instance, it seems like much more of an E-mini thing. It seems like that if you're trading futures that you need a different kind of paradigm. That there is a spread. There is a spread, but you can't just straight up see it from what the level 2 is showing you at the moment. It's like what we just determined right there. It seems to me like the spread is 2 or 3 ticks right now in the 10-year. 2 or 3 ticks right now. Where is it that they're willing to take the volume versus not? Fade back up the pharmacy companies that were hit due to Amazon news? Wait, what do you mean fade back up? You mean you should buy them? I'm actually not too opposed to that idea. There was that pharmaceutical company that we've been watching. How did they do today? Did that affect them? Yeah, Tesla's gonna. How much do you think Tesla's gonna come back today? What do you think Tesla's closing price will be? That one's interesting. Yeah, Sumo is just. Did you see that? Like they had that really good move up there and then kind of back, and it's just like. I'm not sure. I need to try researching. Every time I research, I don't find anything interesting. There's something they don't like about this stock, and I want to know what it is before I get too involved. Okay, so here was Bausch. Bausch is still, past its gap after. I think that was earnings. Could be wrong, but I think that was their earnings. What do you think about MES following NQ? Yeah, let's pull that up again, shall we? And I'll show you what we were looking at yesterday with that. The one observation I can make on that chart. I mean, we'll just use the ES. So I like always better to use the ES just because you fuck with the volume and stuff. And then NQ. Okay. Oh, we don't want 1 second. We want 1 minute. There we go. Oh, did it not add it? NQ. There we go. Okay. Oh, we have to change these. These should be 1 minute bars and blah, 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 blah. Okay. There we go. All right. So, of course, they're pretty darn well closely correlated, right? Oh, that's weird. Oh, there it is. I'm like, where's that? Okay. Now, what am I using? Oh gosh, dang it! It's in the way. Oh, I'm gonna have to open it up and see. It was a pretty weird. Oops, spread. Am I only doing 2 to 1? Okay, I'm only doing 2 to 1. Okay, and then we'll also come in and we'll put the correlation, right? Count and NQ 1220. And yeah, on a 10-minute basis should be fine. Okay. So can you see that? Okay. I'll make these a little, we'll make the NQ and the ES because I think you're pretty familiar with what NQ and ES have done today. Okay. Here you can see the spread a little bit in favor of ES. ES stronger when it's going up and NQ stronger when we're going down. So you can see here NQ declined a bit on this move down here and then ES went up, right? So you can see the spread moving up. Then you can see the correlation actually turns inverse just a little bit, but then ultimately comes back up, and 1 would be like perfect correlation. So what is the whole point of that? Okay, so look at that. It comes back to 0 and it goes up. So the point that I'm making and the thing that I've noticed and that I think we can incorporate, although I'm not 100% sure what I want to do about it, is that correlations oscillate just like everything else. And so if you want to play the correlation, if we if we zoom in here again, let's say that we want to play the correlation, we want to go long, okay? Does it make a lot of sense to buy it right here when the correlation is the strongest? It doesn't. It makes much more sense to make it when the correlation is the weakest, to say there should be a correlation and it's not as strong right now, so I'm going to buy it on the premise that the correlation is going to come back. Does that make sense? I always thought, and I think that probably the majority of retail traders think this way. Oh, I want to take it when the correlations are all together and really strong. And the reality is that when you're getting a really strong trend, that works. But it's like your worst risk reward. What's the actual correlation number between ES and NQ? Is it close to 1 or less? So most often oscillates between 1 and like 80%. So they're pretty closely correlated for sure. Although this last 2 weeks, it hasn't been as good. I mean, there was pretty negative correlation right there. So now, when I started trying to look at the correlation, I don't know how interested I am in doing it between, well, maybe I should be. Maybe I should be looking at the correlations between ES and NQ and trying to time my entries based off of what's going on there. But I tried looking at like spread between ES and the 10-year treasury. And when I started investigating the correlation over there, there's probably something to it, but it's way more sophisticated to trade that one, I think, on that kind of correlation. So who knows? I'm going to bet, though, on that one that it would be way better to be trying that trade at the beginning of a contract, right? And probably in an environment where there's actually interest rates. You say would use 1 hour instead of 1 minute? Sure. Well, so what we were doing is we had 1 minute bars and we were looking at a 10 moving average correlation. So minute 60. Minute NQ 1. I don't know why these changed. I thought that I had fixed that 60. Okay. Oops. 60. See, it doesn't, it's so annoying. See, why did it change that? Oh, that's so annoying. This one. Oh, because they're not regular candlesticks. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. And then we'll add the correlation back on. Instrument NQ 1220. By the way, should I have, well, they didn't get to 15. I don't know. I only have one on. I should probably start trailing it. Like, oh, it's getting like way close. I should just get out then. I'm just going to get out. Okay. Oh, it's past 9:32. Okay. Okay. So now you can see, yeah, it stays pretty high up there on an hour by hour basis. You say that there's a good correlation between ES and CL? You know, I bet there probably is. I bet you there probably is. Yeah. So it's definitely not a consistent correlation.
but there are periods where they get really strong. Now, here's where I'm wondering, so like, what if we only do like 2 moving average? Or even if we just do 1, does that, can you do it with 1? No, you can't do it with 1, but with 2, you can do it. So then you can see how correlated were they on that hour. But we're using 10, that seems to look a little bit better. I bet you, though, that on that one, how do we do this? Correlation 10, and then input series, indicator, dollar index, synthetic dollar index, and make the instrument CL 1220. Oh, it's actually not as high as I thought it would be. I don't know. But that's where, again, I say that it's like, I think it should be that you say, oh, these should be correlated and they're not right now. Then I want to buy it, you know, the E-mini somewhere around here. But I don't know. You could factor it in. All right, now I've got to get going. So how should I deal with this treasury? I'm just going to put it there because there's an iceberg there. Probably should have been paying more attention and maybe gotten out at 08 or 07.5, but because it looks like that this price is less willing to hold liquidity than it was before. And in the E-mini might keep going, but I don't want to be in one of those days where I'm like in it all day, you know? I've been getting a lot of work done this week and I want to stay focused. And even though I still work when I have those on, I was like, it's a sim order and I don't want to be watching it all day. Well, I think that we need to stay frosty because that sell at the beginning of the day was really weird. The deltas today are really weird. And there is definitely something going on. I don't want to make decisions based off of what somebody else did when all I can see it is on the tape. But we should be aware that there's something going on out there that we don't really know about yet. Why are you using a moving average for the way that's just the way that the correlation works? You can't just do a correlated. You won't get a very good result if you're just doing it bar by bar. As I understand it, at least. It doesn't use high, low, and all that other stuff either. It just uses the close of 2 prices. So it's just saying, okay, over the past X bars, and there's a formula for it. I've written it before, but there's probably different ways. There's probably different mathematical ways to look at how correlated something is, isn't there? Maybe we should look and see if there's a better way to look at it. Or we could just go in and write a strategy and just make assumptions about what that correlation is and see how well it does. Because I'm going to bet you that if we did that it probably would come out a little profitable. I don't think that it would be enough to be worth trading it, but I bet you it would come out a little profitable. So anyways, I should get going, guys. What should we call today's video? Something about making a comeback.
Inside pouring day. I could just say Tesla to be included in S&P 500, even though we like barely talked about it at all. That would be real clickbait. No, I don't think we should do that. I stage a comeback after initial bearish opening drive. I think that would be the best explanation for me to be able to know what video we're talking about. So, all right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.